Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Emma Lefebvre and I have been seeing these pocket art toolkits everywhere and I've been officially influenced. I've got two. So let's jump in and see what they're all about. Okay friends, so I have officially been influenced. I have seen these art toolkits all over YouTube and Instagram, and I have been really interested in painting more outside and on the go lately. So I bought a couple of these pocket palettes from Art Toolkit to fill up, one with gouache and then one with watercolor to take outside and paint with me. I also got these extra little palettes to just kind of customize how I like it, because I don't know how much sense it's going to make for me to have a bunch of the little wells, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So I did get the set of 8 of these little pans, but let's open it and see what I got. Okay, so I purchased 2. For some reason, I thought these were bigger. I think they do have bigger ones. I purchased the smaller ones, which is fine. It's gonna be compact and great. Like, look how thin this thing is. It's crazy. So I got a red one, like this, and I also got the black one, which is exactly the same. And I thought I would have one for watercolor and then one for gouache. So cute. And then I can just start painting more on the go. I do have some other travel palettes, but I mean, why would you not want all of them? So, all right, so the only thing is that I have seen a couple tutorials on people filling their gouache palettes, and gouache, when you do let it dry, it does crack. So it will be interesting to see how much it cracks and if it falls out. I mean, this thing is so compact, it's not going to be like bouncing around in here, I don't think. And then when you add enough water, it should be fine. But I mean, it may crack and not work. And the reason why I am using gouache in a dried palette, which I've been doing a lot recently, I did this one with my Christy Rice tin palette. It's just more accessible for me. I have been really enjoying painting with gouache, but I hated the whole setup of squeezing it fresh out of the tube and trying to use it as fresh as possible. I would just like not always know what colors I wanted to use. I just like the accessibility of it dried. Now I am going to be filling it with my gouache from Shinhan, which I love the quality. However, I do have a few of the Shinhan in here, and then the rest is Winsor & Newton. And I can tell which ones are the Shinhan because they are the ones that have cracked the most. So this alizarin crimson, this moss green, which is like my favorite color, and then a bit of this black. The other ones that are Winsor & Newton didn't crack. So this is kind of an experiment. Also, this one is Shinhan as well, but it was very, like, the binder was very, like, it separated a lot from it, and it's leaked. So I don't know how good this paint is, but we'll see. So I don't know if it's a good idea that I put my Shinhan ones in here, but I just love them. So I am just going to go for it. And if worse comes to worse, if it cracks and they're just too crumbly and they fall out, I put them in a different palette, reactivate them with water, and put my Winsor & Newton ones in here. That's worst case scenario. So there's that. And then for my watercolors, because these are such small wells, I thought I would use my Paul Rubens tubes, the leftover ones I have. I only have a little bit of them anyway, and some of these wells are so tiny, I thought this would be really great for that. So I'm going to keep a bunch of these wells. And then a couple of the other colors that I thought about adding was this lavender by Shinhan, which I love. Buff titanium, possibly from Daniel Smith, and then the undersea green by Daniel Smith. So I'm going to see how much room I actually have for all of this, and then we're going to get started. I do want to do my gouache one first. I'm going to use the red one, I think. Now, I have a feeling I'm going to make the most ridiculous mess possible with this. So I am going to cover my table, or at least my work area here, with some paper towel. Maybe open it up, because this is about to get crazy messy. I can just see it now. I am so messy, and they're tiny palettes. I mean, how else are you gonna really fill it, right? So, and those are big tubes. Now, the first thing I want to do, I do want to take these little ones out. I don't think makes sense for gouache having such tiny palettes. This is magnetic, by the way, which is great, the back, so they just stick in really nicely. So I am going to switch this out. Obviously, oh, not obviously. Also, I'm going to take out one of the big ones, and I'm going to replace it with these size. Now, I'm curious as to if I should fill the palettes while holding them. I don't know if that's the best idea, like, because then I could scrape the edges and stuff like that, but at the same time, then putting it down and trying to get back in, I can just see myself, like, this is going to be a disaster. But I'm going to do it anyway, and you guys are going to enjoy and watch. So this might be a video that you guys watch while you're doing something else, because this is just about to get chaotic. So I'm going to have these little ones to the side. And now I want to pick my colors. I did leave the big one in here because I want to add white into the big one. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other spots for my colors. So definitely moss green is one, ultramarine, quinacridone red, lemon yellow. Those are 4. Then primary cyan, which is another blue, alizarin crimson, which is another red. And then I do have this cadmium yellow, but I find it's easier to mix different yellows as much. Like, I don't think I need 2 of them. And I think lemon yellow is a pretty good base. I'd rather fill it with a different color. And then, I mean, I do kind of like the black to darken my colors. This is a possibility. Hold on. I actually, you know what I might do? I might swap out one of these and do 2 tiny ones, like a little bit of black just to darken some color slightly. And then this Meeden one, which is not like high quality gouache, but I love this color, and this was the best color in the whole set. So I might add that. So then I can have 9, 10. So I can have that color. And then, like I said, I don't know if I should put the raw umber in there. It's a little goopy. I don't know how it will hold up. I might try, I don't know. Or, I'm just talking this out with you guys, or do I put Viridian green in there? I might do that. 8, 9, 10. Maybe I'll do these 2 in the small palette and then this one in the bigger one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, wait, no. I only have 7, 8, 9. So I have to get rid of one of these. I don't need this, but I kind of want it. Maybe not. Okay, let's just jump in and see how this goes. I don't know if I should, let's fill this big one up first. I'm gonna take it out and see how it goes. Okay. So I want to put it, and this is how I do it with my watercolors too. I want to put it as close to the bottom as possible so it spreads out. So really get it in there. Then, I'm going to take a Q-tip. I have like a bunch of Q-tips here. I also have a palette knife. Maybe I'll use the palette knife actually. And I'm just going to use the tip to kind of push it over and get to those corners. And then you can kind of scrape it. I think I do want to get a bit more in there just to fill it to the top. Now it's getting it back in the palette, which is what I'm worried about. Without making, like, dipping my finger in there. But I want it nice and full. Really trying to channel not dropping this, but I almost guarantee it's going to happen at one point. I mean, that's pretty good, but that's a big pan, so I feel like that was the easiest. Did I do it? Did I actually do this properly? Look at me go. I'm a freaking rock star. All right. Okay. Close that up. Number 1, the white. Okay. I'm going to move these over. I don't know why I'm so nervous. Okay. Number 2, the green. I'm going to just go for it. Yeah, we're going to do it like this. Okay. I'm going to go right into the bottom. Fill it up as much as I can. Wipe off my palette knife. And kind of get it as flat as possible. So remember, it does shrink once it's dried. And I've just recently learned it's because any of the moisture that is in the paint releases, right? It evaporates into the air, which causes the shrinkage of the color. So when you do see it shrink and crack, that's what's happening. That was pretty good. Look at me go. Like that. And then I still do have it on my fingers. I'm gonna just move this over gently. It's gonna look so beautiful once it's done, but we're gonna have to see tomorrow how it ends up. Okay, so I'm gonna continue doing this. If I make any changes along the way of what colors I'm using, I will pop back in. But otherwise, enjoy this beautifully satisfying process. Okay, I did it. That was a lot less messier than I thought. I mean, my fingertips are nice and painted, but this, like, look how fresh that looks. That was great. Now, the real question is, how is it going to dry? Will I have to top it up much? I have no idea, so we're gonna wait and see what this looks like in the morning. In the meantime, we're gonna set up the watercolor palette. Okay, so now I'm gonna set this one up, and I gotta think to myself of what colors I necessarily need in there. I don't need any really big colors, like lots of colors. So I'm thinking I might do, like, I use a lot of green. So I'm gonna do a decent one, I think, of green, although I don't know if I have enough to fill that whole palette. We will see. Oh, I do have enough to fill with this one. So maybe the Daniel Smith Undersea Green. I'm thinking, I want to put the colors I think I use the most in these ones. Okay, I think I've got it. Nope, not that. Buff Titanium. Okay, I think I've got my crew here. So I'm gonna do, hopefully if all these tubes open, I have Pyrrole Ruby Red, which is a nice red, Quinacridone Rose, actually that's gonna be down here because that is gonna be the biggest colors are gonna be at the bottom, the ones I use the most. So lemon yellow for sure, I use a lot, pink I use a lot. I feel like the moss green I'll probably use a lot. And I ended up getting some Michael Harding just because I feel like I will use them more so. And I also couldn't get the tube open of this. Then I have I have Hooker's Green, which is a nice dark green, Undersea Green, Daniel Smith, Moss Green, which is like a yellowy green, Buff Titanium, Earth Yellow, Lemon Yellow. Then for my blues, I have a Cobalt Blue Light, Cobalt Turquoise, and an Azure Hue. I didn't have like an ultramarine in my regular Paul Rubens one, and I don't know where my other one is, so I'm just going to use this for now. And then Dioxazine Violet, Lavender I had to have, and then Indigo. So now we are going to start filling and hope for the best. Okay, so I think I'm filling them up a little bit too much here, and they're overflowing into each other a little bit. I think I need to just chill with the amount that I'm putting in. This yellow is wild right now. I went a little too crazy with it, and I'm really hoping it just stays. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I guess we'll see. And then these two, the buff titanium and the earth yellow, are just mixing right now. Like, I'm wondering if there's something I can do, but I don't think there is. So we're just gonna go with the flow here and just see what happens. Okay, so in goes my last color, my indigo. Okay, so things I've learned. I could fill it up way too much and get a little bit too, palette happy here with my colors. It's going to be very interesting to see how it dries. Like, my watercolor usually doesn't shrink too much. I did overfill this yellow like crazy, and then these two started bleeding into each other. We're gonna just let it be and just see what happens. I did just go a little bit too crazy with that one, but the other ones surprisingly look well. I am nervous to like move the palette just because I'm like, is this yellow gonna spill? Like, I don't know if you can see how full it is. It's like on the cusp, and then the buff titanium's like in the other yellow. But you know what? We're gonna go with it and hope that this closes well and it does shrink a bit. So there you go. There are my two palettes all filled and ready to go. So I am going to come back tomorrow, show you how they turned out, how much cracking was involved, and if any of them kind of spilled into each other, and then maybe we can go outside and paint something soon. Okay, friends, so it is the next day. The gouache and the watercolor have dried in the palettes. So I did suspect that there would be some cracking in the gouache, but luckily, it's not crumbling or falling out, which is good. The one that seemed to crack the most is this alizarin crimson, but it's actually still quite tacky, so it's not, I don't know if it's just, it will stick together or not. I did see that there was a chunk falling out of my white this morning, so I actually just took some extra gouache and just stuck it in the bottom, took the chunk out, stuck it in the bottom, and then stuck this back on top, and hopefully it will just stay. But it's actually not, the cracking's not as bad as I suspected. It's not falling out, and I'm pretty happy because these are really great gouache paints and they reactivate wonderfully. So there's that one. And then obviously the watercolor palette just dried so beautifully. Like, look how good these look. They look awesome. So pretty. Love it. Now that I have them all set up, I do want to swatch them so you guys can see the colors that I did choose, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, and there we go. There is the gouache palette. Oh, I didn't do the white, but you don't really, oopsie, there was still some pink on there. Let me just clean that off. You don't really need to see the white, but I might just put a little bit there. Anyway, so there's the gouache palette. I will say that the alizarin crimson is not my favorite color. It actually feels a little bit more transparent of a gouache color as well. And yesterday I did go to an art store and I did buy this Permanent Rose Designer's Gouache from Winsor & Newton, which part of me was thinking, because this cracks so much, if I should just like, you know, take all the chunks out and put this in, but I did want to keep this as a Shinhan gouache palette, so I think I'm going to leave it. Worst comes to worst, I do have some of these little pans left that I might put the pink in 2 of them and then replace that if I want to later on down the road, if I've used it and I realize that the alizarin crimson is just not as useful to me. But I don't know. I do love Permanent Rose from Winsor & Newton, so I was excited to get this. Okay, so now I am going to swatch all of the colors in my watercolor palette. And there we go. There is my watercolor palette. So just to go over the color names again really quickly, I did write them down. In my gouache palette on the top row, I have moss green, viridian, lemon yellow, primary cyan, and ultramarine. Bottom row is white, lavender, then black, quinacridone red, and alizarin crimson. My watercolor palette, I had to go on the side because there was not enough room, but top row is burnt sienna, buff titanium, hooker's green, cobalt blue light, and dioxazine violet. Middle row is pyrrole ruby red, earth yellow, undersea green by Daniel Smith. Then I have turquoise and then lavender. Oh, sorry, turquoise, cobalt turquoise and lavender. And then the bottom row is quinacridone rose, lemon yellow, moss green from Michael Harding, azure, blue, and indigo. So I'm pretty happy with my color choices. Like I did say, I might swap out a pink for this one, but I think for now it's perfect. We're just gonna leave it. And now it's time to put it to the test and take these outside and see how they are for painting on the go. Okay, so we are gonna put these palettes to the test. I couldn't decide which one to take, so I'm gonna take both. I have the gouache and the watercolor palette, and I'm gonna see how much I can actually fit in here with these small travel kits. So I have my purse. I have these 2 water brushes that I am going to give a go. That fits. We need paper towel. And then the biggest thing is probably gonna be my sketchbook, but because of this handy little purse I have, it fits. Can you imagine traveling with all of your stuff just here? Huh? Okay, so we're gonna go outside with my handy cameraman, Matt. And now we can go outside. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed my video and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.